It's funny that my guy says this because this was one of those questions that I used to ask pastors when I was younger. I would ask pastors, I was like, okay, so if Noah, brought on all the animals and you got lions, you got tigers, you got bears, then how is it that the lions, the tigers, and bears didn't consume the other animals? They were on this boat for almost an entire year, and the amount of food that would be required to feed all those animals, the boat could not hold. But what about the carnivores? What happened to them? And I did have a pastor at one point say that during that time frame, the animals that eat meat were eating leaves and straw and whatnot, that they were vegetarians. And so I always wondered where he had got that from, where that idea, because you can't find that in the Bible at all. So it wasn't until when I read the book of Enoch that it kind of gives a glimpse of that idea. There's a portion in the book of Enoch where it says that the lion had a fever during the time frame that it was on the boat, because it did not like the dried food that it was being given. So that, which would lead you to think that he was eating some type of leaf, some vegetarian lifestyle. And so the lion had a fever because it was making him sick the entire time that he was on this boat. But all the animals could not have been vegetarian, because there's another animal that the Bible mentioned, that the book of Enoch mentions, called a zikta, Zikta. And this animal, when Noah was cutting a pomegranate open to feed the animal, a worm fell out. When the worm fell out, the animal quickly gobbled up the worm. So not all of them were vegetarians, because then Noah decided to leave out some bran, B-R-A-N. I'm guessing that's some type of weed or something. Left out some type of material and waited for worms to develop in the bran so he can feed the animals that ate worms. And it goes on and give you so many more details as to what was going on the ark at the time frame. It talks about how it was a laborious time because they had to feed the animals that ate in the day during the daytime, the animals that ate at night during the nighttime. So they had to work pretty much 24 hours a day. It goes on to talk about how Noah did not perform the sacrifice at the end of the cruise, because Noah, when he had forgotten to feed the lion swiped at Noah, injured him. And since Noah was now imperfect in his body, had a imperfection, Noah couldn't perform it. So Shem then performed the sacrifice at the end of the boat ride cruise with all the other animals. And so then there was a book passed along to Shem from Noah, which is called the Book of Raziel, which is supposedly have all the wisdom and knowledge of God and the angels. And this book was passed along to through Shem to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and all the way up to Solomon. And this is the book that gave Solomon all of his wisdom. So if any of you guys have ever heard of the Book of Raziel, let me know. I've never been able to find it. Find where somebody claims that they have the Book of Raziel. But this is also the book that was to allow Solomon to control demons. And I know that's off the subject matter here, but that's an interesting aspect that you may want to journey into. Maybe this is Solomon's Book of Demons. Book of Demonology is the Book of Raziel. But anyway, were they all vegetarian? Nope. So there must have been some flies on there that was landing on this bran that was creating maggots that turned into, well, no, that would have just turned into other flies. But maybe they thought the maggots were worms, or somehow they got worms, and they fed the Zikta worms. And I haven't been able to figure out what a Zikta is either. So if you know what a Zikta is, let me know what that is as well. But the book of Enoch is fan fiction because they didn't have any information about Enoch, and so somebody created a whole lot of fan fiction, which you can tell was written after the Torah was written, because of some of the things that it references. The Torah had to be already written, or at least those stories being told, in order for the book of Enoch to have been written, because of so many things that it mentioned concerning what would be in the Torah. I mean, they knew of Solomon, so it had to have been written after Solomon. But it doesn't mention anybody else after Solomon. So y'all have a great day. And remember always, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.